Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reusing some makeup that I've been really excited about, and I'm going to try a few new things. This is just what I was feeling like doing today, and I figured I would just film it because I think it would be fun to reuse the stuff that I've been really excited to keep wearing. And then there's just some new launches that I have to try. The thing that I'm the most excited about, I think, is this palette right here. Dose of Colors launched 2 new eyeshadow palettes. They have gorgeous eyeshadow palettes, and the previous formulas or the existing palettes that they have so far are all matte shades. These are their first 2 palettes that have shimmer shades. I totally couldn't resist. I swatched them as soon as I received them in the mail, but I have not yet put them on my eyes. So I'm wanting to use this. This is such a beautiful color scheme. This is called the Cutting Edge palette. So I'm going to be using that. Also, I really wanted to try out the new Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. So we're going to be trying that out. And earlier today, I got a package from M Cosmetics, and they have new lip liners, and I was really excited about that. So those are the new things we're gonna try, and all of the rest of the stuff is actually pretty new to me, but it's like products that I've been trying out more recently, if that makes sense, and I'm just dying to put them on my face again. I want to reuse the new Colourpop Foundation and a bunch of other stuff. So let's just get right into it. I'm gonna go ahead and pin my hair back so it's not too much of a distraction. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and quickly fill in my brows because I am going to do the eyes first, since it's an eyeshadow palette that I haven't ever used before. Where did my mirror go? There it is, it fell on the floor. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just do this off camera because it's nothing too exciting, but I'm gonna use the Charlotte Tilbury Brow Lift in the shade Supermodel. This is something that I'm reusing. I have been actually enjoying this quite a bit, mostly because of the shade. I find that it looks really natural on me, and I like the formula too. And also, I took like a selfie a few days ago when I tried this pencil out for the first time, and oddly enough, I really liked how my brows looked in the picture. So that's kind of what's been making me want to wear it more often. I think it looks really nice. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other brow, and then we'll get started on the eye look. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and prime the eyes with my NARS Tinted Smudge Proof eyeshadow base. I'm gonna use the shade Medium today. I'm just gonna go ahead and blend that out. I am so excited to try out this eyeshadow palette, you guys. You have no idea. I almost screamed when I saw it come in PR because I had been totally keeping my eye on it on Instagram. I don't know, there's just something about the color story that I cannot wait to try. All right, let's try this out. Again, this is the Dose of Colors Cutting Edge palette. All of her palettes come with a little brush, and actually these brushes are amazing for detail work around the eyes. I tend to use multiple brushes with any eye look that I create, but I do always end up using that brush at some point when I use these palettes. Here is the shade range. So we have 2 shimmers, 3 mattes. This color is insane. I'm so excited about it. It's like this greenish yellow, gorgeous matte shade. We have a warm burnt orange, then we have this really pretty like green brown, and then the 2 shimmers. This one resembles this shade in a way. It's more golden, and this one resembles this one as far as the whole green undertone goes. I'm so excited. Okay. All right, let's start with this shade right here. I think they do have names. I think this first shade is called Cameo. I'm gonna take this on a Morphe M433 brush. I'm gonna tap off the extra. Okay, I just don't know like how dark this is gonna be and if I can use it as a transition shade or not, but we're gonna try. I'm gonna start to buff it into the crease a little bit, and then maybe as there's less on the brush, I can use it a little bit higher on the eye as an actual transition shade. I truly don't think I own any eyeshadow that's quite this color. I'm just blending this out as much as I possibly can. Let's try the same thing on the other side. This is seriously such a unique color. I'm loving it. I'm gonna dip into the next matte shade in the palette. This is the middle shade called Sundown. I'm actually just gonna use the same brush, and I'm gonna start to build that up on the outer portion of the lid, kind of buffing it up into the crease to meet that first shade. I'm gonna layer a little bit more of that color close to the lash line. And then again, once there's less on the brush, I'm just kind of buffing that into the crease a little bit. I really like how both of those shades mesh together. All right, same thing on this eye. Did I show you guys the other palette, the Smoky Soiree? Here's what this one looks like just for fun, so you can kind of get an idea of both of the new palettes. I also swatched this one, but again, I haven't worn this on the eyes yet. This one is so pretty. Definitely more of a warm smoky palette, which is great. The 2 shimmers in here are beautiful, and then the 3 mattes are nice and deep shades, perfect for a little bit more of an intense eye. I'll have to try this out in a future video. I just really wanted to see like the full potential of one palette, you know? Even though I'm tempted to dip into both. We're just gonna stick to one today. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure those are blended together and that it looks pretty similar as far as intensity goes on both eyes. So I'm adding a little more to this eye to match that up. All right, this is where we're gonna use that deep, it's almost like an army green, like a really deep green, but in some lights it also looks brown. I'm gonna take this brush that came with the palette, I'm gonna take the fluffier side, and I'm gonna continue to build up that outer corner with this color. But I wanna be a little more precise with this up against the lash line, and then a little bit more precise going into the crease as well. Really just focusing that on the outer V again, but like I said earlier, trying to keep it a little more precise than the other two shades I just used. This palette would be so perfect for fall. I know it's technically still summer, but I don't even care. I couldn't wait. But I could see a lot of people reaching for this in fall. It just is perfect with those types of autumny tones. Autumny? Just fall tones, you know what I mean. So I'm actually bringing this into the crease a little bit further than I planned on originally because I'm liking that definition that it's giving. So next, I'm gonna go ahead and take this shimmer shade right here. I'm going to use my finger to apply this. I always use my finger for shimmer shades. It's just the best way to apply shimmers in my opinion. I'm going to press this on the outer portion of the lid, kind of where we didn't already apply eyeshadow. There was a little bit of a gap right there, and I'm just going to go ahead and kind of fill that, stopping at the crease where the deep shade was just applied. Wow. That is going on so beautifully. I'm gonna go ahead and match things up on the other side. Wow, all these colors work so well together, which I would hope would happen with a pan like this, or a palette like this, I mean. Since it's only 5 shades, you know, it's really important that they all blend together seamlessly, and I think this is definitely what's happening. I'm gonna go ahead and take the gold shade. Oh, I forgot to tell you the colors. This one is Rule Breaker. The shimmer shade is called Top It Off, and then that dark army green brown is called Edgy. I'm gonna go ahead and take this gold shade and pop this right in the inner portion, blending it on top of that green slightly. Oh my word, look at that. Oh, this palette makes me really happy. Let's go ahead and do the same thing on this eye. Wow, those shimmer shades are so nice. I'm taking that shadow brush that we used with the brown tones, and I'm just kind of like cleaning up the edges of the shimmers a little bit, or kind of blending them up into the mattes. Ooh, I really like how things look. I'm gonna take that matte dark green again and just make sure that that lash line on the outer portion is nice and pigmented with that matte color, because it did get a little bit of shimmer out here, which isn't a huge deal, but I just really like that color up against the lash line, so I'm adding a little more to make sure that that stays there. Wow, that looks nice. I really like how everything blended out so easily. I'm gonna go in with my Persona Cosmetics eyeliner in the shade Brown, and I just want this right up against the lash line on like the outer half of the eye. I'm not gonna worry about winging anything out. I just want this seriously in between the lashes on this outer portion to make the lashes look a little more intense against these darker tones. Okay, well that kind of escalated. I messed up a little bit and ended up bringing the eyeliner all the way in on the inside, but I'm just gonna do a very thin line all the way into the inner corner. Okay, I'm just gonna take a clean brush and buff everything up toward the brow a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna take a makeup wipe and just clean up any fallout under the eyes, as well as kind of sharpen up the edge here. I'm gonna take my finger and just kind of press down the shadow on the edge to make sure it's not too harsh. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pop on the mascara now, just on the top lashes. So we're gonna try out the Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. Here's what the wand looks like. It's supposed to be a tubing mascara. If you're familiar with the Thrive Cosmetics mascara, that's also a tubing mascara. So I'm actually interested to see how the two of those compare. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this to just the top lashes for now. I'm gonna try to really build this up as much as I can since I have a pretty intense eye look on. Okay, that built up really nicely. I was hoping that it would. I actually really love the Hourglass Caution mascara, so I had high hopes for this one, and it looks really nice. I did get some mascara marks on the eyelid, but what's new? I will wipe those off once they dry down. Let's go ahead and move on to Complexion. I've been obsessed with this, you guys. I'm not just saying it, like it's so good. This is the Dominique Cosmetics and JD Wadey 180 Ultra Hydrating Complexion Primer. It has worked beautifully under all of my favorite foundations. I love this stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and apply that all over the skin using my fingers. Now, when I first tried this out, I did mention to you guys that it does have a pretty intense fragrance, like a cucumber-y kind of a fragrance. And I was a little bit worried that that would break me out because I am someone with pretty sensitive skin. So far, I don't feel like it has. I haven't noticed, you know, extra breaking out aside from my normal acne that I get anyway. So far so good with that. For foundation, I really wanted to use the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hydrating Foundation. They sent me 2 shades, so I'm going to mix them today. They also sent me like the whole range in little samples. I will write my actual match with just 1 shade in the description box if you want to know. But since they did send me 2 full-size bottles that are pretty close, I mean, I do have to mix them to get the shade to work for me. I'm just going to use these. So I'm going to do 1 pump of each. Well, like a half a pump of each. The first one is Fair 25W, and then I'm going to mix in Light 40N. Those are the 2 shades, and then I'm just going to mix them together. It actually creates a shade that's pretty spot on with my skin tone when I mix them, so it all works out. First, I'm going to distribute this all over the skin with a brush. I love how lightweight this feels on the skin. When I wore it last, I did notice that the only thing was that it kind of settled around the nose a little bit, so I'm gonna try to not really load too much product around the nose. Try being the key word, because, you know, I apply my foundation the same way, so I'm gonna have to like be conscious about not applying too much around the nose, but I'm just gonna try it because I want to see if that makes a difference or not. I'm gonna make sure to blend this down the neck and along the jawline as well. I'm going to take what's left on the back of my hand with my sponge and then just smooth everything out. This foundation gives such nice coverage, but it seriously feels like almost nothing on the skin. What more could you ask for? Okay, I still don't know how to pronounce this brand because I was saying Uoma because there's a U in front of the O, but then one of you guys commented and then I went on their website and apparently you're supposed to say it more like just Oma. So I don't really know, but I've been obsessed with this foundation as well. I've been using it a ton. But today I wanted to use the Colourpop foundation again just to kind of see which one I like more, you know? Doesn't that just look so nice? I think that this foundation is so pretty. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and go into the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. This is actually something that is new to me. It wasn't new to Colourpop by any means. I think they launched this back when they launched the tinted moisturizer, I'm pretty sure, but I just never tried it, so put a little bit of that under the eyes and on the chin a little bit, and then I'm just going to blend that out with a sponge too. And then I'm going to take my Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away Concealer, just because it's a little bit of a more full coverage situation. I'm just going to use that over top of more stubborn blemishes, and I'm just going to use my sponge to blend that out. Alright, this isn't a new product either, but I'm going to use it anyway. I'm going to set the face using my Thrive Cosmetics Filtered Effects Soft Focus HD Setting Powder. It's a beautiful translucent powder, and I'm going to use that underneath the eyes. I'm going to try to make sure to set around the nose really well. I'm also going to set the forehead, and then I'm going to use whatever is left on the brush and kind of set the rest of the face lightly, but I'm focusing most of the powder on the T-zone. Okay, let's finish up the eyes before we move on to the rest of complexion. So I'm actually going to take that same brush that comes with the palette. I'm going to dip into the deepest shade really lightly. I'm going to tap off the excess, and I'm going to start to apply this on the outer third of the lower lash line. And make sure to connect it to the existing shades on the top lid. Alright, I'm going to flip over the brush to the more precise edge, and I'm going to dip into that mustardy matte shade. Again, this is called Cameo. And this is the one that I want in the inner corner. So I'm going to start to apply that there and then just drag it across, connecting it to that deeper shade on the edge. And then I'm going to try to just wipe off that deep shade on the other side of the brush so that I can dip into... Well, first I'm actually going to take that brush that I cleaned off a little bit and kind of blend the two together under the eyes, and then I'm going to dip into this shade right here really, really lightly, tapping off the extra, and I'm just kind of blending that in the center to combine all 3 of the matte shades. Next, I'm flipping the brush over to the more precise side, and I'm going into the golden shimmer, and I'm going to go ahead and apply that right up against the lash line, starting in the inner third, moving it to about halfway across the lower lash line. Same thing on the other eye, and then I'm going to dip into the darker shimmer shade, that green one, and kind of buff that right here on the lower lash line. I think that's so pretty. I'm just going to take the other side of the brush and kind of buff things together. I'm going to take my powder brush and just buff away any fallout. I do feel like I want a smidgen more of like that mustardy tone on the lower lash line, so I'm just going to take a clean brush with a little bit of this, tapping off the extra, and I'm just going to try to apply this right along the edge to see if I can get a little bit more of that same effect we have going on the top lid on that lower lash line. Again, I'm going back in with my powder brush just to make sure I didn't take that too low. I'm taking that matte green again and just making sure that that looks nice and defined on that very outer corner, connecting it up into the other shadows. Now I'm going to go ahead and apply the Hourglass Mascara to the lower lashes. Ooh, wait. Before we do that, I love this eyeliner for when I do any sort of eye look that involves greens. This is the Thrive Cosmetics Infinity Waterproof Eyeliner in the shade Lizzie. I'm going to go ahead and apply that to the waterline. I just love it so much. It gives that definition, but it's not as harsh as a brown or black. I think it's so pretty, and if you have any hint of green in your eyes or if you have like hazel eyes, it looks so pretty, especially in the waterline. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and do the lower lash mascara, just using that same Hourglass Unlocked Instant Extensions mascara. Okay, I'm just kind of brushing up the brows. Let's warm up the complexion. I wanted to use this face palette. I love it. It's the Go Off Minute Finish face palette from the Lip Bar. This is an incredible palette, you guys. So it has a bronzer, a brightener, a highlight, and a blush. So we're going to use all of those products. Just going to start with the bronzer, and I love this bronzer. I already said this in the video where I showed you guys this first, but this bronzer is such a nice tone, especially for fair skin. Now, they actually have so many different shades in this palette, so no matter what your skin tone is, you can definitely find something that's going to flatter your skin tone perfectly. But I love that this bronzer doesn't lean too red. It almost has more of an olive undertone, which I think will look really nice with these tones on the eyes especially. We're taking a little detour, and I'm buffing off the mascara marks on the eyelid because they were bothering me a little bit. Okay, back to bronzing. I'm buffing this around the forehead, along the jawline and down the neck, and then on the sides of the nose a bit. I'm also going to take the brightening shade with the same powder brush we were just using, just to really make sure that the under eyes are nice and bright, especially since we have a smoky eye on. I think products like this really help clean up the lines underneath the eyes, and it also helps hide dark circles if you can still see them through the concealer. Put a little on the chin and on the center of the forehead too. My favorite part about this palette is probably the highlighter. I'm going to go ahead and take that highlight shade, tap off the extra, and just start to build this up on the cheeks. A little goes a long way, so I try to be a little bit light-handed with this, but it's seriously such a pretty highlight. Can you see that? Oof, it's so pretty. I'm going to go around that brow a little bit. I'm also going to take some down the center of the nose and on the cupid's bow. And then in the video that I showed you guys this, I actually used another blush. So I wanted to use the blush in the palette so you can see what it looks like. It's gorgeous. I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of smile and apply that on the apples of the cheeks, blending it over top of both the highlight and the bronzer so that the three of those blend together rather than looking like stripes. I love it. Okay, I'm actually going to take that same highlight shade while I have this palette out and just pop that in the inner corner of the eye. And then also whatever's left right underneath the highest point of the brow. Okay, now I'm going to wipe off any foundation that got on the lips. And let's go ahead and try out one of the new Soft Blur Velvet Lip Liners from M Cosmetics. I'm so excited. Oh, which one do I want to use? I almost want something a little bit more brown. So I'm thinking either Teddy or Kitten. This is supposed to be like a really nourishing type of lip liner with squalene, shea nut oil, vitamin E, and Sacha Inchi oil. I've never heard of that, but that sounds nice. Okay, what did I say? Kitten or Teddy? We're gonna see which ones out of those two that I want to use, but it launched in 5 different shades. I'll show you. These are the 5 shades right here. So pretty. Here's what the packaging looks like. I like how you can see what color it is on the base. This one is called Kitten. I'll kind of swatch that on my hand so we can see what it looks like. So that one's more of like a peachy brown. I feel like there is a little bit of brown in there, but it definitely leans peach. Let's see what Teddy looks like. Yeah, this one's definitely more on the brown side. I think I'm going to try this one out. So I'm going to go ahead and line the lips with this. The formula is definitely very smooth. I always line and fill in the lips with my lip liners because if I ever layer anything on top, having that lip liner as a base all throughout the lips makes the color on top last longer, and then when it fades, you still have color underneath. The color is so pretty. The formula is really nice too, and I love the blurred effect that it gives. It literally is called Soft Blur Lip Liner, and I can see why. I'm just gonna use my finger to kind of blur out those lines a little bit more actually, because I like that effect. For lipstick, I'm gonna go into my Patrick Ta Oh She Single lipstick. This is one of their new lip colors that I recently bought, and I'm really loving. But I don't know if I've used it on camera yet. I'm just gonna layer that in the center, and then use my finger to kind of blend it into the lip liner. Okay, I'm gonna step back and assess the situation. I'm adding more blush, just with whatever's left on the brush. I feel like the brows need a little bit of touching up, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm also adding a little bit of bronzer Just make sure I have enough of that warmth and definition on the face. You know what? Maybe I'm going to try this Becca Zero No Pigment Glass Highlighter. If you didn't see that video, I will have it linked down below. I tried out this no pigment foundation as well as this balm highlighter. And I was curious in that video to see what this would look like on top of other products. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of press this onto the very high points of the face for that added glow. I think that looks nice. And I will let you guys know if it breaks up my makeup throughout the day or if it stays looking nice. I also have not yet tried the Becca Zero No Pigment Foundation as a primer yet. I guess I could have tried it in this video, but I wanted to focus on some of the other new products that I wanted to try. So when I do, I will let you guys know what I think, or maybe I'll try it on camera sometime soon. Okay, let's go ahead and set the face. This isn't gonna really make the makeup last super long, but I'm obsessed with it. This is also part of the Dominique Cosmetics and JD Wadey 180 collab. It's the Ultra Hydrating Fine Mist. I'm obsessed with this, you guys. I'm gonna cover up the eyeshadow so it doesn't crease. Just give the outsides of the face a nice little spritz. Seriously, I love this mist. It's so pretty. Just drying that off a little bit, and then, where's my sponge? Here it is. Once it's almost dry, I'm gonna gently, gently, gently take this all over the face just to make sure everything is pressed down all over the skin. Last but not least, I'm going to use my Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brows brow gel. I'm getting the hang of this. I'm trying it out. I don't know if it's my favorite brow gel as of now, but again, when I took that selfie, my brows looked good in the pictures. So I'm like trying to figure it out because I like how it looks, but it's a bit more of a complex formula. You have to be like very careful with how much pressure you apply, because that was my mistake when I first tried out this product. I totally made my brows look like big globs because I put too much product on. So I'm just being very gentle, trying to not make that happen again. All right, you guys, that completes this makeup look. I love how it turned out. I'm so glad I was able to reuse some of the products that I've been super excited about. And then trying out that eyeshadow and even the mascara and the lip liner, I'm really excited about all of them, honestly. Like, they lived up to my expectations. This eyeshadow palette, it's definitely aesthetically more fall in my opinion, but I don't care. I'm gonna wear it in the middle of summer. It's just that pretty. I really do love this palette. I don't own anything that has quite this color scheme. I have some that lean army green gold, but this is really, really pretty and really unique in my opinion. I think the formula is beautiful. So I'm so excited to keep using this. It's just pretty. I love it. I'm really excited to try the Smoky Soiree palette next. The mascara, I mean, it looks good. I mean, obviously there's a lot of mascaras that look good upon application. The wear test is what matters to me, so I will leave a note down below letting you know if this smudges or flakes, but it's not supposed to since it is a tubing formula. So fingers crossed that it works well on me. I would love that because I do think it's really nice. The lip liner felt so beautiful. I'm excited to try the other colors, but the color I did try today is really nice. And I will leave a note down below letting you know how that wore throughout the rest of the night too. And then yeah, everything else I'm really happy with. I really love the Colourpop Foundation, like a lot. I think it looks so fresh on the skin, but it also gives enough coverage, but it also doesn't feel like too heavy on the skin. It's so beautiful. So I'm really feeling this whole complexion situation. And I will also try to remember to leave a note on how this balm highlighter wears through the day, because sometimes when you apply a balmy kind of product on top of powder or creams, sometimes it can break up the makeup by the end of the day. So I will keep you updated on that as well. That was fun for me. I really enjoyed, reaching back and reusing some of the products that I'm excited about and then trying some new stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. If you're new here, hi, my name is Allie and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button, and if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. That's it for me today. Let me know in the comments below if you guys are loving any of these products that I use today. I love to hear from you guys, so be sure to leave a comment. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye!